You're listening to exclusive coverage of Chiefs football.
Cody and Gold at 10 and The Drive with Carrington Harrison at 2. Follow this station, your favorite shows and podcasts on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. And make sure to follow our social channels at The Fan 965 on X, Instagram, Facebook. Plus, watch all the shows on our YouTube channel. Your new home for Chiefs football. 965 The Fan.
This is the Kansas City Chiefs Radio Network.
The Drive, weekdays starting at 2 on Kansas City's FM sports station. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, and Odyssey Sports Station.
And welcome to After Hours, Jay Binkley. James Howell producing the operation. James, good evening to you. We've had a fun year. A lot of times I've followed the Chiefs Kingdom show with Mitch Holtis.
Oh, yeah.
Usually some happier surroundings. Mitch always kind of puts you in a good mood.
Yeah, even on a down note, man. Mitch brings the energy. I love listening to him, and he puts you in a good mood, man. He makes you feel good about things.
You've been out there. You've been locked in. You're a lifelong Chiefs fan. You understand how it goes. 6-11. That game yesterday, that was a tough one to swallow. That was a tough one because you're sitting there and you never really want them to lose because once the game starts, you're like, all right, just go ahead and win this thing because it is the Raiders. You want to win.
Yeah.
But then when you start thinking about the draft and the draft slot, and you're like, might not be the worst thing in the world because if you're going to bench Pacheco and all these guys, you don't want to win the game. And you're bringing in Shane Buechele from the Bills practice squad to not be able to throw a forward pass. You're like, you know what? Just go ahead and lose this. Set us up with a top 10 pick, number 9 pick in the NFL draft. And, we do that character concerns each and every week. Chris Sarah and I, we've been doing it ever since the draft was here in Kansas City. So we just kept this bad boy going all year. We're not just Johnny-come-latelys. We don't just come around draft time and, dive into the players. We follow them all year round and the matchups that they have. Look at the, quote, character concerns. You name it, and come out with kind of a list of who we like. I see a lot of who people like so far in the draft, and you can poke holes through a lot of them because I don't think a lot of people are looking at things like arm length or do they fit in the system that Kansas City Chiefs like to do. Did said player have a good performance against a decent team?
Sure.
Or did he whip the hell out of Tarleton State? Did he whip the hell out of Eastern Michigan? Did he actually shine against good teams? Because guess what? There's little hidden nuggets with each and every draft pick, but the Chiefs sit there at number 9, and oh, man, it's fun. You start consuming these mock drafts and who are the Chiefs going to get, and you get excited. You get excited about going to St. Joe again. You get excited about training camp. That'll probably be in Olathe once they move over to the side of the state line. But for now, you can go to St. Joe and see whatever weapon they decide, whether it's wide receiver, whether it's defensive back. We'll get into much more of the NFL draft as we go throughout the show. But the season is done. Obviously, we'll talk about the NFL playoffs. But, my feelings, I like to see teams crash and burn. I've already seen some of that. Saw the Baltimore Ravens crash and burn last night.
Wasn't that nice?
Hey, you enjoy it. Here's the thing. You blank around and you find out, like the voters did with the team leaving. It does happen. You blank around and you find out. You have fun with Chiefs fans and their misery when they're not in the playoffs, and you like to rub it in, and then you yourself find yourself not making the postseason. Like, what's one team that I've always enjoyed the downfall of this year? The Johnny-come-lately Colts. And I brought this up when they were 7-1. I brought this up when they were 7-2. I brought this up when they came to Kansas City, and I said, I do not believe in Daniel Jones. I don't believe in the Colts. And I know he got hurt, but he played in the Kansas City game. He had 7 turnovers the 2 previous games to the Kansas City game. I don't think they had their franchise quarterback. They might have thought they did, which is a huge mistake. And Chris Ballard should probably be fired because trading 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner was absolutely idiotic and stupid that the Jets are going to have the first-round picks instead of the Colts. That's a big problem. You misidentified having your franchise guy and your team fell down. You had a 44-year-old starting quarterback when you could have started seeing development from the guy you drafted.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing over there in Indianapolis. And you're absolutely right. You've been banging that drum all year. That Daniel Jones just isn't it. It just isn't it. We see this all the time, just like these flash in the
To be
pans.
fair, he did get hurt down the stretch, but
That's
he
fair,
started
but-
to show signs before he got hurt.
Yeah, but it's the inconsistencies that we're really talking about. You know, Daniel Jones, yeah, he had a nice little few weeks and he was looking pretty good. But when it comes back to average, I mean, he's just an average quarterback. I mean, when he comes back to earth, he's just an average quarterback. So I'm not a big believer in Daniel Jones. I don't know what they're doing over there, trading all those picks for Sauce.
A guy that barely played for him.
I don't know. I'm confused, and I'm glad that it's not our GM. I'll tell you that.
Well, it's one Johnny-come-lately team there, and then we'll see other teams go. The Bills got to play against the red-hot Jags this season, so we'll get into some NFL playoffs. But for the most part, it was done yesterday. Well, not most part. It is done yesterday. Now the Chiefs can fully put all attention on the Senior Bowl that comes right before the Super Bowl. They can do that now. Not they didn't in the past, but when you're drafting at the end of the first round and you're concentrating on winning the Super Bowl, just like Spag said, he was talking to players that he really didn't know a ton about the last couple of years because they've always been the Super Bowl. Well, now it's all attention to what happens. And hopefully there's infighting with the assistants on which direction they should go. Wide receiver, defensive back, edge rusher. Hopefully there's some good, healthy discussions on which directions to reboot the Chiefs, whether you want to call it 2.0, 3.0. I'm calling it 2.0 because this truly is a reboot. I know they've done it in the past, but they kept winning in the past. They kind of did it in Super Bowl 57 when they beat the Eagles and they had all those draft picks like Pacheco in the 7th round and Ozzie Johnson and Jalen Watson in the 7th.
Half of reboot.
Yeah, it kind of was, but this is a full-on hit the reset button.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. And the good thing about the Chiefs not necessarily being in contention late in the season is that, one, we get to rest some of these guys that have had some very long seasons. And then, two, the evaluation process started early for us this year. And so I'm excited to see what we can do in the offseason with an actual full offseason under our belts.
What do you think the first order of business should be? Andy Reid had his end-of-the-year press conference today. Carrington carried it at 3, but a lot of he's not sure yet. Maybe it's too early yet. When it came to the assistants, hey, Matt Nagy didn't have a contract going forward. Is Travis Kelce going to retire? There wasn't a whole lot of answers today, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to some change.
And you didn't expect it, by the way.
Yeah, and I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't expect Andy Reid to give us too much.
Oh, he's retiring. Nagy's going to be gone. You weren't going to get that. Maybe you hoped to get that, but you weren't going to get it.
You were never going to get that. He wasn't going to just come out there and flat out say that. You know, I think along with a lot of Chiefs fans right now, I hope to see some turnover, especially at that offensive coordinator position. Whether it happens, I don't know. I think it will. But we'll see. And that's what makes the offseason so exciting.
Well, I think it'll happen. Nagy did not sign an extension with the team before the season started. He is a free agent, so to speak. Now, can they whip something up quickly? Yes, they can. Or can they go a different direction? Yes, they can, which they probably should be. There's probably some assistant coaches that have been here throughout the long haul, like a Dave Tobe that's been here since day one at special teams, to bring life into the system, inject some new ideas to the system, which you can do. And this is the time you need to peel back the sentimentality for practicality. You need to pull back the business side. Just like they always say about GMs. You listen to the fans, you're going to be one of them. You got to bring back the personal side of things and look for business now going forward.
Yeah, and that's really what it's about, man. We've got to reset, like you said before, hit that reset button, and let's get this team back on track. This is a losing season, yes, but it's one that we've had in the past decade.
Yeah.
And so it's
Andy Reid's worst record before this year was 2014 when he was 9-7. He was still 2 games over 500. Didn't make the playoffs, but that was one less playoff team they had back then. But he didn't win it.
But you learn this is the area in which you learn. You learn in your mistakes. You don't learn from your successes as much as your mistakes. They made a lot of mistakes this year, and like Andy said in his press conference, they've got some growing to do and some learning to do.
And this will be fun for Chiefs fans. It's not always been like this. Matter of fact, it's been pretty lean for the longest time. I remind people all the time, they went from 1970 to 94 not being in a title game, right?
Jesus.
The 1969 season, they played the AFC title game in 1970. They went all the way to 1994 before they played that title game in Buffalo that they lost. They went without winning a playoff game from January 16th of 94. That was the Houston Oilers, all the way till January 9th of 2016 without winning a playoff game. That's 22 years. And I brought it up before. Kids were conceived, born, went all the way through college, sitting at a bar 1 year legally drinking without the Chiefs winning a playoff game. You draft Patrick Mahomes, all of a sudden he's won 17 playoff games. Number 2 all time to only Tom Brady, passing the great Joe Montana, you name it, 17 playoff wins for Patrick Mahomes. So it hasn't always been like this. It seems like it's been like this, but it hasn't always been like this. But now is the fun time. Now's the time to really test your fanhood. Get excited about who they're going to draft. Not that you're not excited about when they drafted Josh Simmons last year. There has been other. Obviously, Felix is not a guy you got real excited about them drafting. Yeah. But top 10 picks should be a day one starter for your football team. Not only that, but a high second rounder, high third rounder. You get the kid by finishing yesterday with a loss. It does help them that because you are resetting the order. If you do tie a team, you are set and you have to split in the different rounds, second, third. Just like the Raiders, by winning that game, yeah, they get the first pick in the draft, but they got to not get the first pick in the second round, the third round, etc. Moving forward.
Yeah, and I think this is an exciting time for Chiefs fans because it's been a long time since we've had a top 10 pick. And we're going to go out there and hopefully we get somebody that, like you said, is a day one starter, is going to be a difference maker, whether it be edge or wide receiver or whatever you might
Just like
see.
the top text here from 918, draft by the Chiefs. Reuben Bain, David Baylor, Caleb Downs. If they're all gone, trade down. Well, here's the thing. Right here,
I'm with that.
Caleb Downs is fine, but he's a safety. I don't see the Chiefs taking a top 10 safety. I love Caleb Downs, but don't see the Chiefs taking a top 10 safety because they could get a Jacoby Thomas, maybe the 5th round on from the University of Miami as well. Reuben Bain, have you looked at his arm size? And don't tell me this stuff doesn't matter. I know I'm a draft geek and all this. We're looking at a guy at possibly 5.5 inches shorter arm length than Myles Garrett. Now, no, not everybody can be Myles Garrett, but 5.5 inches is different in arm length. You know what? Sometimes you can dominate at the college level, but the NFL is a different game. All this stuff does matter. It was a reach when the Chiefs took Ashton Gelati. He had shorter arms, but they were over 31 inches. And George Karlaftis like 32.5. George Karlaftis was bigger than that, but still not that typical, 33-inch, what you're looking for as far as length. But it does matter, especially when your tackles are at 34 and 35 inches. Now, Simmons was 33. Usually, Andy Reid in his history, they've been 34-inch arms. But again, Reuben Bain, yes, the guy's an absolute stud, but there's a good chance he moves to the inside. A good chance that he moves to the inside with that arm length. Then it'll be determined when you go to the combine. Yes, you can create a lot of havoc. You can do a lot of damage at the college game. And speaking of that Ohio State-Miami game, there was 7 first-round picks in that game. 5 for the Ohio State Buckeyes, 2 for the Miami Hurricanes. You had 7. 32 first-round picks is all you have. 7 of them in that game. That is 22% of first-round draft picks were in that playoff football game between Miami and Ohio State. Yeah, the college football playoffs is the combine in action when you can see some of your great players. And yes, arm length doesn't seem to matter for Will Campbell in New England. It does happen. Again, guys can break the trend, but teams will typically stay to their board. And arm length does matter for reach when it comes to edges. Now, can you move to the inside? 100% you can. 100% you can. But it does come to fruition at times with arm length. And that's been the thing with Reuben Bain because you watch him, this guy's an absolute stud seeing what he does. But I'm saying these things do factor in to teams. If not, they would never measure that at the combine. They wouldn't even do that at the combine, but it does matter. Whether it matters to you or not, doesn't matter. Yes, there are asterisks to guys, but Obviously, yeah, Will Campbell kind of breaks that mold, breaks that trend. And Josh Simmons breaks that trend, but because he's a lot better tackle than his arm length would dictate. But it does happen. Yes, it does happen to that. But none of those three guys are who I would draft. I'm still team get a weapon, an offensive weapon. Because I get it. They need defensive help. They need a lot of defensive help. But I will say this. Where is that production coming from? If you lose Kelce, which you probably will, that's over 800 yards of receiving that he brought, and he's gone. And last year wasn't his best year, but he still led the Chiefs in yards. Matter of fact, last decade, it's been him or Tyreek Hill that have led in yards. So if he's gone and Hollywood Brown's gone, then all of a sudden, Rashee Rice, better hope he plays every game because he hasn't so far, and you need production from Xavier Worthy, who lost 3 games this year. So, again, who's Mahomes going to throw to? Because now you're going to have the safety blanket in Travis Kelce, so you do have to bring in some other offensive weapons. Now you can through free agency, I get that, but you don't want to spend big money on a receiver. You don't want to do that. You don't want to spend big money on a running back when you can draft said running backs. Because I get tired of all this draft the first-round running back and all this stuff that we're saying. I will say this. 4 of the top 10 rushers in the NFL this year are first-round picks. That's it. 6 of them aren't. 4 of them are. Only 4 running backs in the top 10 in rushing in the NFL are in the playoffs. That's it. Only 4 of them in the playoffs. So you think drafting somebody in the first round is a guarantee you're going to the playoffs? Think again. It's not the case. You can get a good running back in the second round, third. Hell, Derrick Henry's a second rounder. You can do plenty of damage in the second round if you want. But our phone number, 913-586-7965. If you'd like to chime in, say who you would like Kansas City Chiefs to draft, because it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be back and forth and up and down and everything else before we get to the draft, which makes draft season fun. But it is a chance for the Kansas City Chiefs to get better right now with some business decisions. We'll talk about that next.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
So, you're ready to propose, huh?
Yeah, man. She's definitely the one.
What are we thinking about the ring? I got my wife's at Hellsberg. I couldn't recommend a better jeweler.
I could use some help with that.
Man, go to Hellsberg. I had no idea how many details you need to consider. Did you know you can get a natural or lab-grown diamond? I didn't. Figure out what she wants. Trust me, they'll make it happen.
Start your story with Hellsberg. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
Wouldn't put them in debt, but still had freshly ground beans, rich flavor, and a price that starts with a 9 and ends with a D9 cents? We were too nice to say no. Any size darn good coffee, just 99 cents with Casey's Rewards. Limited time only. See store for details.
It's really been amazing, the amount of people that I've had contact me, and the talk is generally centered around QC Kinetics, and whether it's a knee, whether it's a back, a hip, shoulder.
He's always happy to talk about how QC Kinetics all-natural regenerative treatments finally gave him relief without surgery. That's former pro football player Bobby Carpenter.
My message to them is do not wait and push off a week, a month, whatever it is. So if you want to feel better this summer, now would be the time to get in. If you want to feel better in the fall, make sure that you're getting in here so you can go out and play golf and do the things that you love and enjoy.
Spoken by a man who experienced relief firsthand. QC Kinetics gave this former pro athlete back his mobility, his activity, and they'll do the same for you.
Has really helped me in just my general quality of life.
Don't wait. Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation today. QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
My name is Whitney Allen. I'm a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required. Hi, I'm Chef Franklin Becker. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure what the best option is? Selling a home, especially when dealing with foreclosure, divorce, job relocation, or an inherited property, can feel overwhelming. That's why I don't just make offers. I help homeowners understand all their options so they can make the right choice with no pressure and no obligation. I'm Rex, a local homebuyer and resident right here in Kansas City. Whether you're looking for a fast cash sale or just want to explore your choices, I'll walk you through the pros and cons of selling to me or listing with an agent. If selling directly is your best move, I'll offer you a fair cash price and a closing timeline that fits your needs in as little as 7 days or on your schedule. No repairs, no commissions, no hidden fees. Just a transparent, hassle-free process so you know exactly what to expect. Let's talk. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com for a free, no-pressure consultation. Rex Buys KC, helping homeowners make informed decisions with confidence.
96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports. Wake up with Fesco and Dusty from 6 to 10. Hang out with Cody and Gold from 10 until 2. And on your way home, tune in for The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Can't listen in the car? Listen live or on demand with the Odyssey app. And watch all the shows on YouTube or your favorite social media platforms. Your home for Chiefs football. Your home for Royals baseball. Your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome back to After Hours. Jay Binkley, James Howell producing the operation. Do you know what's really impressive, James? The New York Jets.
I don't think I've heard that all year.
Yeah, no one's ever said that. They have a defensive back as a head coach, Aaron Glenn. They did not. They became the first team ever to not have an interception the entire season, and there's that one extra game. That's impressive.
Got to give credit where it's due, I guess.
That's impressive. That's very, very, very impressive. The Jets, also Bryce Underwood at Michigan. He's going back to Michigan. It's funny. College football is becoming these series of one-year deals, right? Oh, he's got a new deal. He's coming back. Like Trinidad Chambliss is wanting to come back to Ole Miss, right? He wants to get that waiver for a sixth year, which he's probably going to get, and then he's going to get a ton of money as well. He was already positioning himself maybe to be the third quarterback taken in this year's draft. His last two losses are to Georgia and then Pittsburgh State. That's it. That's his last two losses to Georgia and Pittsburgh State, if you can believe that. Trinidad Chambliss, the quarterback of Ole Miss. Brendan Sorsby, the number one quarterback in the portal. He had recruiting visits because guys go on recruiting visits now for the second time for the portal. He went to LSU and Texas Tech. He chose Texas Tech. Maybe making north of $5 million, something like that. More than the entire contract of Shedeur Sanders when he was drafted by going to Texas Tech. It's so much so they had a billboard in Times Square for Texas Tech. This is the new age of college football, man.
Wow.
Guys are taking that name, image, and likeness money and staying put.
Uh-huh.
We'll get that. Montana State, by the way, is up 7-0 on Illinois State in the FCS title game. So they do have a title game tonight. No Monday Night Football, but you get the FCS title game. And then you have FBS playoffs on Thursday and Friday night, followed by wild card weekend in the National Football League. So you get game Saturday, you get game Sunday. You even have a Monday night game as well. So the NFL playoffs, we'll talk about that. Plenty to talk about with the NFL playoffs. But, man, for football fans, the season's not over, man, because you got the semifinals of FBS, and then you got some wild card action in the NFL. So life continues to be good, James. But I did mention replacing Travis Kelce, right? Do you know who the leading receiver on this team by yardage is for 2025? Travis Kelce. 2024, Travis Kelce. 2023, Travis Kelce. 2022, Travis Kelce. 2021, Tyreek Hill. But Kelce still had over 1,000 yards. They both had 1,000 yards, Kelce and Hill. So you've got to go all the way back to 21 to find somebody that wasn't named Travis Kelce to lead your team in receiving yards. So he's going to be probably gone. So then you have to replace that yardage. It doesn't come from the magic yardage fairy.
Right. And look, even if Travis Kelce comes back next year, he cannot continue to be the main focal point of this offense. I mean, the fact that we had a tight end as our leading receiver for 6 years in a row, 7 years, I think is crazy.
And it hurt not having Rashee Rice for 6 games. And that was the thing, too. That's the thing I always worried about. And people, oh, no, don't worry about that. They're going to be fine. When Rashee Rice was bagged for missing the first 6 games of the year, I was concerned about that from day one. I would rather him be out week 10. Get some other receivers acclimate. I hope Jalen Royals would have been ready at that point, but clearly he wasn't. But didn't want to see the Chiefs get buried in the standings when he was gone for 6 games. And then all of a sudden, Xavier Worthy gets hurt on play 3 in Brazil. Then he's out for that game, plus 2 more beyond that. So all of a sudden, you didn't have your 1 and 2. You didn't have your St. Joe receivers again. And boom, the Chiefs are in the same place they were in a year ago. But I didn't want to see them get buried, which I guess they were 500, so they weren't completely buried. But I didn't want to see that. So hopefully you get a full dose of Rashee Rice this year.
Well, and I also think that's why it's important to keep retooling, to keep giving Patrick weapons. You know, this draft and this offseason, we got to go get him another weapon. You know, Hollywood Brown's gone. Juju's going to be gone. Travis Kelce, we've got to replace those yards someplace. We have to keep retooling this offense.
And I know the desire to get edge rusher. I know that desire. I know it's strong. But you know the Chiefs were number 2 in the NFL for 2 straight years before last year where they were 18th. For 2 straight years, they were number 2 in the NFL in getting sacks. And you look at a lot of this talent here with Karlaftis and Chris Jones, you're like, well, how'd they do that? Well, they did it by blitzing secondary pieces, which you saw Noel get back there yesterday. But they did it by blitzing secondary pieces, inside linebacker blitzes, you name it. But they did it and found a way to be second in the NFL in sacks. They got that. But my thing is this. You have Patrick Mahomes. Get him weapons. It's a limited time in life that you have that guy to be quarterback. They've never had a quarterback like that in Kansas City. You may never again. You probably never will have a quarterback of that talent again as Patrick Mahomes. I mean, maybe you do. Maybe you can stumble into a Drake May situation like they had in New England, but he hadn't done anything yet. I mean, he's got this team into the postseason as number 2 seed, so we'll see. I mean, the sky's the limit for him, but he hasn't done anything yet. But give Patrick somebody to keep throwing to, not a mid-30s tight end to be your leading receiver. Just keep supplying him with talent, get him that receiver. I was hoping Rashee Rice was going to be that guy, and clearly there were some times that kind of came back to the pack. And I know everybody made a big deal about beating man coverage, which it was tough. But as I mentioned a couple weeks ago, CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens were number 1 and 2 in the NFL against man coverage. They were the only receivers in the NFL with over 400 yards against man coverage. Dak Prescott led the NFL in passing yards, over 1,000 yards against man coverage. It's a defense that a lot of teams don't run because they're scared of doing it.
Yeah, and I think the bottom line is that Patrick Mahomes is the motor on this train, and we just got to keep giving him gas. And whether it's a man beater or a possession receiver for red zone touches, he's got to continue to keep getting weapons.
That's why I wanted Carnell Tate at the beginning. Not a great showing he had in the last college football playoffs. Obviously, Jeremiah Smith was the lead dog, and he will be because that guy's going to be a true stud, and he's going to be the most talked about guy in that 2027 draft. It's got to wait a year because he's just a sophomore. But, yeah, that's a true stud. But these Ohio State receivers are studs. I mean, just look at what Igbuka and Jackson Smith and Jigba and all these guys are doing in the National Football League. They're going to be studs. 816 wants a new wide receiver coach. Yes, I think that could be something that's done, something that's tangible, and something that needs to be done. Again, infusion with new ideas. I know they bring new ideas in training camp because Gruden spent a day with the Chiefs. Antonio Pierce spent a day with the Chiefs. They do bring in guys as consultants for the team, but they've got to lean heavily on outside influences for this particular team.
Yeah, I think they need a refresh. You know, bring somebody in that's maybe not necessarily from the Andy Reid coaching tree. It's got some new age ideas, like a newer, younger coach, not an older coach, a younger coach with fresh ideas.
Because I don't want to see Bieniemy back. I don't want to see Kafka back. I don't want to see Doug Peterson back.
Yeah,
I want fresh ideas.
See Brian Daboll.
I don't want to see players too. I don't want to see Mike Pennell back. I don't want to see Juju back. I don't want to see Clyde back. I'm tired of retread players that have played here in the system. Move a different direction.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Look, I think we mentioned it a couple weeks ago. I love the idea of Cliff Kingsbury. I think that his connection with Patrick Mahomes, and then, he's a younger coach with fresh ideas.
One of the biggest connections you could have for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, absolutely. And so maybe something like that, to replace an offensive coordinator or just to bring in a fresh idea.
Now you see how much you miss him when you see what else is out there.
Yeah.
You start seeing true value to this football team. But 913-586-7965 is our phone number. It's also the J Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7965. What position do you want the Chiefs to concentrate in the draft? Because honestly, good arguments can go a long way, and because honestly, you can make a case for a lot of different positions for the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll do that next.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a lot more.
And I completely agree. That's why I'll pay more for your car at GiveMeTheVin.com. That's the name of our new campaign. I'm worth more. You are worth more, and your car's worth more. And that's why I will pay more. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100 at GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Men, the new year is here, and if you're like many of us, you're ready to improve your health. But if you're feeling low energy, not sleeping well, or not seeing results in the gym, keeping that resolution can be tough. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if those symptoms sound familiar, we can likely help. They often point to low testosterone, and treating low T is what we do. But this year, we're also helping men go further with 4 targeted body composition plans featuring growth hormone peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more, designed to boost energy, support metabolism, enhance recovery, and accelerate fat loss. With our low T treatments combined with our body composition programs, most men notice real improvements: more energy, better focus, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and often a renewed sex drive as well. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or visit heartlandmenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-894-7722. That's 800-894-7722. Again, 800-894-7722.
Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your Nature-Made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
At LendSeek, we know running a business takes heart, hustle, and sometimes a little help. That's why we stand with you with our exclusive AI lending platform, connecting you to over 100 funders. If you've been in business for at least 2 years with a minimum annual revenue of $500,000, you can get up to $1 million in funding in as fast as 24 hours. No collateral, no prepayment penalties, no red tape. Apply today with no cost or obligation at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
Welcome back to After Hours. Jay Binkley, James Howell producing the operation. 14-0 Montana State. They haven't won a national title since 1984, James. Illinois State's never won one at all. Something's got to give. But Montana State up 14. I love the FCS playoffs, man. I think it's fun. Yeah, you sprinkle in some FCS title games. That one Saturday, we had FBS and FCS semifinals and everything. It was great football time. Just like this weekend's going to be great times for football players. So I ask you each and every week, James, and we started this several weeks ago. Matter of fact, we've had 2 mock drafts out now as well, seeing as the Chiefs just keep going down and down and down as far as getting a better draft selection in the draft this year. Which position, if you come off your positions, because I know you're a heavy edge rusher, which might be the right answer. It depends what they're going to do at wide receiver and tight end, because I think if you do go tight end, you've got to do it through free agency, because it's cheaper with tight ends than it would be a receiver.
Sure.
Because receivers can cost you 30 plus.
Sure. No, I could see that. No, I think, man, I really would like to see defensive end, but I'm also on that same train of we need to just keep retooling and giving Patrick Mahomes weapons. So I think I would like to switch my answer from a couple weeks ago and change from defensive end to wide receiver in the first round.
Okay.
Yep.
That's fair enough.
Yeah,
Because you're looking at weapons.
Yeah, I'm looking at like a big body receiver.
Not tight ends, wide receivers.
Wide receivers, yes. Like a Carnell Tate. I really like him from Ohio State. Big body receiver, has great upside. I'd like to see something like that.
Probably the best route runner in the draft amongst these receivers. Definitely the best hands. And he's willing to block as well. So, and he's 6'3". That's Jordan Tyson's another enticing one at Arizona State. He's 6'2", right about 200 pounds. And Mekhi Lemon, a little bit shorter at 5'11". It's probably your top 3. And Chris Brazel's at 6'5", out of Tennessee. Well, I am curious what Tate will run, because Tate might be on the slower end as far as some of these wide receivers are concerned. But we'll see what happens when they go to the combine, if they choose to run, because more and more guys choose not to run. If they're not good at certain things, they don't do it. Just like Ruben Bain, we're talking about his arm length. There's a chance he goes to the combine and doesn't measure. Now, he could at the Miami Pro Day, but maybe he doesn't, because guys do fall down the list. Just like when Xavier Restrepo were in the 40 last year, he went completely off everybody's books.
Yeah, because this stuff, it does matter. I mean, as much as people want to be like, well, it's just a couple inches on his arms or whatever, it does matter in the NFL.
Denzel Boston, another one at 6'4", but so you're looking at getting a weapon, and you're okay with that. Well, we had the Chiefs going edge in the second, because I think more and more good edges are available towards the end of the first round and or the second round. You used to not see that. You used to have to draft someone 1 through 18, or you weren't getting a quality as far as edge. When you look at like the numbers, the top 20 sackers in the NFL, you needed someone 1 through 18, and you can get somebody at the end of first round. T.J. Watt was at the end of first round. Karlaftis at the end of the first round. Max Crosby, a 4th rounder. So you can get more and more guys towards the end. You don't necessarily have to go 1 through 18. Running backs, I definitely think you can get in the 2nd or 3rd round.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, we need a running back, and that's true.
They do.
That's 100% true, but I do think that you could find one in like the 2nd, 3rd round, something like that. It's not necessarily a top 10 pick. I would rather go with like a wide receiver with that pick myself.
Well, you could when it comes to some of these guys, because as I said, only 4 players in the top 10 rushers are in the playoffs. Only 4 players out of the top 10 rushers are first-round picks. You look at who the leading rusher in the NFL, James Cook, 2nd rounder. Okay, so you go in the 2nd rounder. Derrick Henry, 2nd rounder. Jonathan Taylor, 2nd rounder. Then Bijan, he's a 1st rounder. Achane not. Kyron Williams, a 5th rounder. Jahmyr Gibbs, 1st rounder. McCaffrey is. Javonte Williams isn't. Saquon Barkley is. So you can get good quality running backs. I understand this team needs a good running back. You would like to think the running back room would look completely different it'll have Brashard Smith still in it, and that's it. Brashard Smith, believe it or not, he ended up with 25 receptions on the year. I think the Chiefs really value him as a wide receiver. Seeing him run the ball kind of sprinkled in at different times, saw a lot more in the Raiders game as far as Brashard Smith, which I don't think was 100% fair to him when you consider the line wasn't, it didn't have Trey Smith in it, didn't have your tackles in it, much different. Yes, Creed played and stuff like that, but that does make a difference to your running game.
Yeah, for sure. And I like Brashard Smith. I think he has a lot of upside. But do I think that he's like the running back of the future for this team? No, I like him for depth.
He's a piece.
Yeah. And so I do think that they need to go out and, whether it be in free agency or in the draft, go address that position for sure.
I wouldn't wait for the 7th round. That's too far. 3rd round, 2nd round, 3rd round. Okay, you can start making some arguments. 4th round. And remember, they're not loaded on picks. They got 6 at this point. They'll probably get an extra comp pick in there, but they're not loaded on picks, so they got to be kind of careful. And they got to be right. This is a very important draft for Brett Veach to be right.
Yeah, and at some point, they have to make a significant investment in the running game.
The good news is that hopefully you got something in Josh, because that's something you don't want to deal with. Now, they're in a prime position to get a good offensive lineman, no question about it. That's why you hope Simmons works out, because the last 2 years in the draft, you've had to worry about it. You brought in Kingsley in the 2nd round. That didn't work out as your left tackle. That's your guard down left side. Then you draft Simmons in the 1st round, and he needs to work out for this team. He's got to work out for this team.
He has to. And if he does, I like where the offensive line sits. Do I think that they need some depth pieces? Sure. But, Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, Josh Simmons, and Kingsley's been a good left guard this season. So, I like where the offensive line sits, the starting 5. I think they need some depth pieces. Once again, I don't think that's something that you look to address early on in the draft.
918 says, don't say they should draft Love in the top 10. If you guys say that, you're nuts. Actually, we've said nothing but the opposite of drafting Jeremiah Love in the 1st round. Matter of fact, when it comes to Jeremiah Love, there's a lot of love for Jeremiah Love. Listen, he did well against Purdue, but who do you think his toughest game this year was? It was Miami, right? Miami is the team that kept Notre Dame out of the playoffs. Wouldn't you say that's correct on that assumption? Jeremiah Love against Miami, their toughest game this year, he had 33 yards rushing. So Jeremiah Love, that everybody's in love with, had a tough game to begin the year at Miami, where typically the running game and defense is top. He had 33 yards rushing against the Hurricanes. He gets Texas A&M at home. Again, 2 playoff teams in a row. He had 94 yards rushing on 23 carries, though. And then he had 157 against Purdue, 57 against Arkansas, 228 against USC, 136 against BC, 66 against Stanford. Again, look at who they're playing, when they're playing, and look and say, what team kept Notre Dame out of the playoffs? That was Miami. What Jeremiah Love, Mr. maybe a top 10 pick, run for against Miami? Oh, he only had 33 yards rushing. He only had 3.3 yards per carry. So you start thinking about these things and say, because he was big on our character concerns list, Jeremiah Love coming into the season. But then this particular game, as soon as it happened, I'm like, whoa. That's when Justice Haynes started getting all that run. He ended up with 857 and 10 touchdowns, but then he got hurt. But Justice Haynes is who I like in the 3rd round.
Yeah, I'm with that. I could be.
But running backs you can get in the 2nd round. You can get in the 3rd round. I know a lot of people still want some Breece Hall, but you're going to pay him.
Yeah.
Chiefs are $50 million over the cap right now.
Yeah, I just don't think it's
Which
worth.
they can come down with. They can restructure some contracts and get that under control. 816 says, will Kelce take a discount since his bride to be is a billionaire? Genuine thought. It's a thought. It's a thought because there's a difference between millionaire and billionaires, right? Kelsey's a millionaire. She's a billionaire. I always thought that he should go to her someday and say, hey, honey, would you buy me a team? Would you get some of your friends together? Would you buy me a team? Patrick and I want to run a team.
They could. Look what Mahomes and Brittany did. They could very well follow that same path.
Yeah, Mahomes got a lot of money, but it's not a billionaire.
Yeah, she got more money than that. So, it's definitely on the table.
So I'm pretty sure. I hate to see him play with another team. You can't rule out anything. Again, he's a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
So it would cost money to obviously have him back, but he's been your leading receiver since 2021. I've had a lot of people say who they should draft, but I haven't heard one person say where those yards are going to be gained from. I've heard some maybe Noah Gray and stuff like that, and I just laughed.
No. No, I don't see that coming from Noah Gray. I mean, we got to find somebody, whether it be in the draft or in free agency. We've got to make up those yards. Now, I am, on the other hand, very optimistic that Travis Kelce will be here next year. I don't have any particular reason. I'm just optimistic.
Chris Jones is.
Yeah. I've seen that interview, or the press conference.
Players always hate when other players have to leave, but sometimes you have to say goodbye. You do.
Sure.
It's just a natural course of the NFL. Again, you can't play favorites all the time. Like I do feel this organization did when they re-upped Priest Holmes coming off an injury, when they had already drafted Larry Johnson. So he'd already drafted a running back in the first round, and Larry was ready to roll. You remember how close Larry came to, getting 2,000 yards? Remember how good he was once he got to start instead of Priest?
Yeah, and it took him a little bit.
The running back shelf life is short. We know that if they're used all the time.
And that's why I don't.
Guys like Derrick Henry are just asterisks, man.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Did you enjoy that Steelers game last night? Steelers Ravens.
Yeah, if I'm going to be honest, I did not partake. I just kind of watched the highlights.
Oh, that came down to the end. That was a lot of crap games this weekend, but that was good. The Saturday games were good. But,
I heard Justin Tucker was laughing on the sidelines about that missed field goal.
Yeah, he shouldn't be laughing at anything.
Yeah, that's true. Fair enough.
Remember that little game he used to play there on the goal line, putting his footballs out, and the Chiefs kept throwing away at his tees and stuff.
Yes. Silly boy.
Oh, man. But anyway, there's college football. Montana State still 14-0 at this point. 913-586-7965 is the phone number. Go over some of these texts and your draft choices next.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care with state-of-the-art proton therapy right here in KC. If you have breast, head and neck, or brain cancer, proton therapy may be a better treatment than conventional radiation. Don't wait. Get your second opinion at Kansas City Proton Institute. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced proton therapy team. Learn more at kcpi.com. Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.
Fast breaks, buzzer beaters, and block parties are back. And however you like to get in on the action, you can do it on Underdog right now in Missouri. This season, you can make team picks and player picks. Just download the app, sign up, and you'll get $75 in bonus entries when you make your first $5 fantasy entry. Using Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite team will win or if your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like points, rebounds, steals, and more. Plus, with Underdog's quick payouts, you can get your profits fast. So download the app today and use promo code BOB to score $75 in bonus entries when you make your first $5 fantasy entry. Player picks, team picks, all on Underdog. Crypto powered by Underdog Predict. Trading derivatives involves risk and may not be appropriate for all. For more information, visit www.nadex.com/rules and underdogfantasy.com/rules. For Crypto.com predictions, the term pick refers to a product traded on CDNA. Must be 18 and over and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms. _DFS_HTML for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Men, it's the new year, and for many of us, it's a time of deciding to make positive changes in our lives. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction and are tired of the frustration and embarrassment ED causes, you should call Heartland Men's Health today, because there probably isn't a better resolution you can make than to be done with ED. You see, ED doesn't just affect you, it can also affect your partner, even if they don't talk about it. But here's some great news. If you're like most guys, the treatments at Heartland Men's Health will give you back your sex life, because our protocols have success rates that work in well over 90% of cases. Seriously, you might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So, make an appointment and get ED out of your life. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Welcome back after Jay Binkley, James Howe producing the operation. Man, it seems like forever that we haven't been in here.
Yeah, I had a couple
Everybody kind of had a nice
with,
little holiday, right? Between New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, the day after. And we would have all been in here Friday had it been not been for the Chiefs being quote out of it at that point.
Yeah, it's all good.
Did you have a good stretch run between Christmas and New Year's?
Well, you know, I had a good buddy of mine offer me 4 tickets to the Chiefs game, so I was able to go to that. And then I had another good buddy of mine that offered me an upgrade. And so I was like, yeah, why not? Got to go down to the 100 section. Watch some ball.
Did you do anything for New Year's? I just watch football, but
No. You know, I'm a family man. I grabbed some grape juice for the kids. We watched the ball drop.
Sparkling Welch's.
Yeah.
Yeah, they love that stuff. That champagne-looking stuff.
Yeah, exactly. We grabbed that up. Grabbed some wine for me and the missus, and watched the ball drop. Counted down. Hey, Happy New Year.
Did you make sure you had the right glasses for the right? I'm kidding.
I think we might have used coffee cups,
Hey,
to be honest.
do what you got to do. I always considered New Year's Eve kind of like amateur night.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I know it's popular with a lot of people, especially the younger group. They like to do it. I always consider St. Patrick's Day that kind of way. People don't drink during the year, but that day you do. New Year's Eve, everybody goes out. Got to do something. Got to go to a party. Got to go, look good. You don't need to, man. Just enjoy the games. Maybe I just never have done anything on New Year's Eve. Just never. I just enjoy it. I still stay up and watch the. I try to make it till midnight.
Yeah, it's
a lot
not
of times
real
I make
big.
it the East Coast version.
I do like to have some black eyed peas on New Year's Day, though.
I do the same thing, James. Always have.
Yeah, that's like a tradition of mine. I like to have some.
So you actually do that too?
Yeah. I got that from my father, and we've done that every year for as long as I can remember.
It's supposed to be good luck.
Yeah, that's what they say. I haven't had much success with it.
Well, I have a lot of them too, and it is. Do you make resolutions? I don't.
Not really. No. I say, hey, we're gonna be better, but
Usually we got playoff football to look forward to.
that's right. Yeah.
Except this year we have the draft.
Draft season starts early. That's a blessing, really.
Yeah. And everybody just dived into it. It's like this text line. They all like Reuben Bain. They all like Jeremiah Love a lot. And they're starting to like Bailey, even though I don't think Bailey really fits into the system what the Chiefs like to do, the size on the edge. But, again, we don't know about Spags. He's going to be interviewing with Tennessee. So's Nagy. Both of them are going to interview with Tennessee. Spags, at some point, he keeps doing these interviews. At some point, it's like maybe it's passed him by, that run for head coaches. At some point, you just got to – maybe you're defensive coordinator for life. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just kind of got to break away from it. Keeps getting them, keeps doing the interviews. Would he make a good head coach? Yeah, I think he would. But he makes a damn good assistant.
Well, and I think he
and I have no problem with him.
I love Spags. I posted on social media, hey, look, you can have Nagy. Don't touch Spags. But no, I think Spags is a good candidate for a predecessor.
Because it's his group. Reed's not part of that. Like, Reed is a huge part of the offense.
Exactly.
The defense, you do what you want to do.
Yeah, and he's got full control over there, and he does a great job. And like I was just about to say, I think he's a good candidate for a predecessor after Andy Reid leaves.
Well, and the one thing about the Chiefs are they're very good with defensive backs that come into the system. They aren't necessarily first-round, defensive backs like Jarius Sneed, a fourth-rounder, Jalen Watson, a seventh-rounder, Noel Williams, this year's version, which is a third-rounder because the Chiefs had to trade that Tooney pick, that fourth-rounder, to move up to get Noel Williams in a third. But he's a big part of defensive backs. Because obviously he cut his teeth being a defensive backs coach, and it's kind of what he does. Him and Dave Barrett, they are big into that as far as, Veach, hey, look at these guys I wanted you to look at. Take a look who kind of fits into your system. Which type of player would you be type wanting? Here's a list of 10 defensive backs. You don't have to know everybody, but know these and let me know who you like best. And he's a big part of that.
Yeah, no, and I think that's been key to our success over the years is that he's been able to pull some of these.
They've had a lot of
rough.
good luck with non-first round. Now, obviously, Trent McDuffie breaks that mold because it's a first-round pick. But for the most part, they've had a lot of success with, middle of the draft safeties, corners, slots, you name it.
Yeah, those late round draft picks, middle round draft picks have done quite well for us, and I think that's a product of Spags. Like, I think that's his system, and he knows what kind of cornerbacks and defensive backs that he likes for his system, and it makes it work, even if it is a late round draft pick.
And here's the one thing too that's kind of never really talked about with the Chiefs. When you look at these this coaching staff they have, it's usually the same guys. They're kind of grandfathered in. They've always been here. They don't do a lot of changes, and so there's not a lot of openings. But coming to Kansas City is a very good opportunity for anybody, and for offensive-minded guys to come to Kansas City and be on a staff that has Patrick Mahomes. That's an attractive place to go. Being a coach with Andy Reid for the Kansas City Chiefs, that's an attractive place to go. But when a lot of jobs open up, you don't get a lot of those bright ideas because everybody's got the same job. Everybody's coming back. You can guarantee it. They're going to go Nagy again at offensive coordinator. Connor Embry's your wide receiver coach. And they don't do a lot of wholesale changes. This year is different where your phone might start ringing on guys with fresh ideas because the guys that were grandfathered in are probably on thinner ice than they've been in the past with the Chiefs. And I do believe they'll have a lot more openings, so to speak. So, guys, they can bring in new blood because other times you try to apply for the Chiefs, you're getting returned to sender. They're not taking your application, they're not taking your resume. But all of a sudden you have a lot of jobs open, and the sky's the limit for some of the quality of coaches you can bring in.
Well, and I think it's going to be important this offseason to have some turnover. The system that the Chiefs have been running, the NFL has caught up to them. They've been game planning, they've caught up to them, and now it's time for some fresh ideas on both sides of the ball.
When you've been the marked team, and teams do look at this organization from the top to bottom, who they draft and what are they doing, what is the reason for their success besides Mahomes, which a lot of it is Patrick Mahomes, but what are they doing well? And the Chiefs did this before they kind of started their rise. They were looking at the Patriots.
Exactly.
And kind of what they were doing through the draft, the players they were bringing in. And they said, you know what? It's not about stopping the Broncos, because at that point you would run off 16 straight again. It wasn't about stopping the Chargers. It was about beating the Patriots. It was about beating the Steelers. It was about beating the Ravens. It was about beating these other teams that are all of a sudden showing some promise. But the Patriots were number one. And Tom Brady, when he was there, that was public enemy number one for the Kansas City Chiefs. And they had it head on. You know what they did? They brought in Spags. Spags was a Patriots killer. So they bring him in, and that's the team they needed to stop. So they focused in on New England Patriots. Buffalo has spent their time for the Kansas City Chiefs. Matter of fact, their draft was almost all defense this year. The free agents they brought in, guys like Bosa and stuff, was to stop the Chiefs. Now, where Buffalo kind of didn't see sneaking up on them was the Patriots, because the Patriots snuck up and won that division when the Buffalo Bills have been concentrating on the Chiefs because that has been their kryptonite. That's been their nemesis when it comes to the AFC playoffs and trying to get them. So, yes, it's the right idea. Let's stop the Kansas City Chiefs and what they're doing. But you got to keep in sight, like, okay, who else is getting good. New England's built a little powerhouse here, and Mike Vrabel is going to come in and maybe change things. But they concentrated a lot on the Chiefs, and now the Chiefs are in the postseason. We'll see that team is built to stop the Kansas City Chiefs, especially defensively with what the Buffalo Bills have been doing. But the Chiefs had all eyes on the Patriots. They've got to stop that. They've got to stop. If they want to get anywhere and beat that dynasty, they got to beat the Patriots. And they did. And they almost beat them there in the AFC title game with Dee Ford was offsides and you name it. And it was the old rules where Tom Brady won the toss, goes down, scores a touchdown. Obviously, things are different now in the NFL. But that was the team who the Chiefs looked at and said, we got to beat the Patriots. And they did.
Yeah, absolutely. And to your point, the Bills did get a little bit of that tunnel vision. They got the Patriots coming up on them. But regardless, this is the NFL catching up to the Chiefs. The Bills did it. They built their team specifically to beat the Chiefs. The Denver Broncos did the same thing.
They've done it a lot like the Chiefs, except for James Cook. That's the biggest difference because wide receivers, a bunch of no names.
Exactly.
And they're doing it with tight ends, but not like Kansas City has. But running back situation, they have been better because they've relied on Josh Allen, like the Chiefs have relied on Patrick Mahomes. They've relied a lot on him. Now, as far as the Bills draft, their first 5 picks were on defense. And 7 out of 10 were on defense. Or 9. Only 2 offensive players this past year. Tight end Jackson Hawes, and they went Chase Lunt, the offensive lineman. Oh, Prather, that's right, the wide receiver. They got in the 7th round. But they spent a majority of their run, and their top 4 picks were all on defense. So that's 100% what they've been doing. Coming up next, we'll take a look at the playoffs now that the Chiefs aren't in it, but other teams are. Is there anybody you're rooting for? 913-586-7965.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com, and I look forward to working with you.
NFL playoffs, let's go. DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and it makes every moment feel bigger. In the postseason, the game shifts fast, and with DraftKings live betting options, you can stay right in the moment. Plus, DraftKings has your back with early exit protection. If the player in your eligible NFL prop bet goes down at any point in the first half, you still get paid in cash. With DraftKings, you're covered through the entire half. Why bet player props anywhere else? New customers, here's your shot. Bet just $5, and if that bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code 965. That's code 965 to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Additional terms at dkng.com/audio. Limited time offer.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-284-1238. 800-284-1238. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-284-1238.
This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Welcome back to After Hours. Jay Binkley, James Howe producing the operation. 14-7 now. Montana State over Illinois State. Or 21-7, excuse me. It's 21-7 now. Halftime. So you still get a dose of some college football playoffs before Thursday and Friday. Are you going to be diving into these semifinals, James?
Absolutely.
Good.
I've never really been much of a college football guy. You know me, my team's the Sooners. They're out of it. But, I mean, this is the best talent that college football has to offer. And we're going to see it on display in a competitive environment, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I really thought they'd give Bama a tougher game because Bama can't run the football, and that came to fruition when they were hammered 38-3.
Yeah, and it's okay, man. I'm proud of my Sooners. They got there. They got to the dance. It wasn't the result that I wanted, but let's be honest, they probably wouldn't
It's tough
have
to beat a team twice. And you know what? Oregon, Indiana, beat Oregon earlier this year. That's going to be a great game. Oregon, Indiana. Like the way Oregon's defense played against Texas Tech. I mean, Texas Tech was shut down to just 215 yards in that game versus Oregon. Leading credence to that, if you have a first-round bye, you don't win in the college football playoffs, it's better to go ahead and play a game because teams are 7-1. The only team to win that has a bye has been Indiana. Miami and Ole Miss will be fun. The only team with a national title here has been Miami going against Ole Miss. That game's on Thursday night, then Oregon in Indiana on Friday. But also, we've got a full slate of NFL scorers to talk about as well with the wild card weekend. You get different opinion whether you like wild card weekend. Divisional round is a ton of fun too because then you kind of, you weed out the wild card teams. You weed out the Carolina Panthers of the group and you get the serious teams to have that win and then get yourself in the conference championship. Conference championship weekend is always fun. Divisional round always my favorite though. But wild card weekend doesn't suck either. I like the divisional round a bit better. But the Rams and Panthers get things started on Saturday. The Panthers are interesting. They're 8-9, right? They get a home game in the playoffs. Are you for this, or would you rather see some seeding? Because I've heard both. I love people that like the way it is, and, of course, there is people that, maybe like it a little bit different, like them to reseed it if they could reseed it when it gets to it so you don't have a situation where you have the Carolina Panthers getting a home playoff game.
Sure, and I could see arguments for both sides of that coin. I like to just kind of keep things the way they are. I know it doesn't make much sense to have an 8-win team, get a bye or to play at home, but it's just the way it's formatted, man. They won their division, and if they win their division, you get a home game, and that's how it's been for a long time. I'm down with just keeping it the way it is.
There was a game that was 27-24 this year, Jets over the Falcons, right?
Uh-huh.
November 30th. Now, Ari Myra put this out on Twitter, and it's 100% factual. It's fun. Week 13, Jets beat the Falcons by 3. Now, keep this in mind. Atlanta would only lose one more time the rest of the season. the Jets would not win another game. If the result flipped in that game, Atlanta would have been the NFC South champs. The Jets would have the number 1 overall pick. Think about that one game on November 30th, when it was 27-24, how big sometimes games are that just weren't right there at the end of the year, beginning of the year. But that game would have been 27-24. Things would have flipped. Atlanta would end up winning this division. So
that's crazy.
Here's the thing, the reseeding things, like I love how the college football did it and not give, bias to teams like Boise State and whatever. You didn't do it, you had them earn it at this point. But the reseeding thing, I wasn't a huge fan of it before, but I can get behind it now. I can get behind it now because Carolina, listen, I've lost some money on Carolina this year because you keep believing them. Because literally they won, lost, won, lost, won, lost all year. They'd go win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. They're so unpredictable in what they do. They beat some really good teams. They lost some really bad teams. But the Rams and the Panthers, I think the Rams, I don't think they have a lot of trouble in this game. I think the Rams beat the Panthers.
100%, Bink. I actually put money down on the Rams to make it to the Super Bowl in Week 6. So I'm confident in my Rams. I think that they're going to win against the Panthers, and I think they're going to go all the way. I think they're a better team than the Seahawks.
So that's your number 1 team?
That's my number 1 team.
All right. The Packers and the Bears. This is interesting. Packers 9-7-1. So unpredictable at the Bears. I actually like the Bears in this one. That's the 7 o'clock game on Amazon Prime Saturday night. I do like the Bears in this situation. Sunday, really good ones, the Bills and Jags. The Bills and Jags, a very good game. Jaguars are on a hell of a heater right now.
Yeah, that's going to be a great game.
They've been averaging, 25 points a game since week 8.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence has definitely stepped it up. I know there's been a lot of talk about, is he the guy?
He's finally got a guy that he can gel with in Liam Cohen.
Yeah, and I'm glad to see. I like success, and I like to see these young guys have success. I know it's not my team, and it's not the Chiefs or whatever, but man, go out there and ball out anyways.
Well, they've won 8 in a row. The Houston Texans in the same division won 9 in a row. Those are 2 red-hot teams at this point. Bills, Jags, this is going to be fun. This is a noon game on Sunday. Then you get the 49ers and Eagles. I do not like the way the 49ers defense has been playing. That was a bad showing their last game. It was a really, for a team that against the Bears, that was a great game 2 weeks ago. This last week against the Seahawks, not so good. I actually like the Eagles in this game.
I do too.
I'm to this point. You got to beat the Eagles, man. You do. You got to knock them off.
Yeah, and I think the Eagles' defense is still really good. I think they got a good pass rush, and I just like the Eagles in this one over the 49ers.
The night game on Sunday night, Chargers and Patriots. Chargers at the Patriots. The Chargers' offensive line is starting to show weaknesses at some points, and that was going to happen when you've lost both your tackles and Trey Pipkins. Not been 100% in different games, but Slater's obviously been out the whole year. Joe Alt gone for the year. Slater was actually hurt before Alt was this year, but I like the Patriots. And then that one. Then Monday night, you have the Texans and the Steelers. The Steelers are on borrowed time, man. They do. Ah, man. The Steelers last night, that was rough. I mean, seeing Marquez Valdez-Scantling, do things for the Steelers, kind of like, all right. But DK Metcalf has been suspended 2 games. He's actually back, and they miss him because Adam Thielen and Marquez Valdez-Scantling, they're on borrowed time.
Yeah, I don't think that there's any way possible that the Steelers make it past the first round.
The Texans are red hot. They're 12-5. They've won 9 straight. And do you remember all the buzz at the beginning of the year was about D'Amico Ryans?
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe what I was hearing because we brought it up on the show. People were talking about his job and his job. He won playoff games his first 2 years as a head coach. Right? That's good. Okay, that's good. He had the number 1 defense at the time. It's not like a Johnny come late. This defense has been good wire to wire. And they're number 1 scoring defense. But the Texans' defense and that pass rush is legit. Whatever they can get out of C.J. Stroud, they do have good receivers with the Houston Texans, but it is hard to deny what they've been able to do. I mean, winning 9 straight in the NFL, and I know Jacksonville's sitting here with 8 straight, but 8 or 9 wins in a row in the NFL, I don't care who you are. That's damn good.
Yeah, it's both. Both teams are impressive right now, whether it's 8 wins or 9 wins. And then, to your point about them calling for D'Amico's job.
I was shocked.
That's how crazy NFL fans can get sometimes. I mean, we've heard it here in Kansas City, people calling for Andy Reid's job.
Oh, Seattle, by the way, just passed them, 17.2 per game, and Houston sitting at 17.4.
Okay. But yeah, man, that's how crazy NFL fans can get sometimes, and delusional they can get. Like, he's a good coach. He's had good success, being there. Just because they started slow doesn't mean that you gotta fire them.
Are you buying the Broncos to have that home field advantage? Because that's important. Because you get that one game, you have to win that one divisional game, and boom, you're in the AFC title game. And on the NFC side, you have the Seattle Seahawks. I think teams have been sleeping on Seattle all year, and you have to go out Northwest. And it's a great fan base.
No, I'm as much as it pains me to say, I 100% believe in the Broncos. I think that they are truly the number one team in the AFC, and I've got them down as my Super Bowl pick.
They know how to win. They're last year's Chiefs.
Yeah.
It was tough to bet on against last year's Chiefs. They find a way to win towards the end of the game. 913-586-7965 is the phone number, 913-586-7965, the J Southland Tow Service text line. Are you caring about the playoffs? Or are you just all on the draft mode now? Because I did say this. So I was like, what are you going to do now? Because usually you're working up until February with Chiefs games, because they're going all the way to the Super Bowl.
Sure.
But, you sit around, enjoy, watch all the games. But you have to have a rooting interest, do you? Because I know a lot of people say, well, who are you rooting for now? Are you rooting for anybody? I've told you my thoughts. I want to see everybody crash and burn. I want chaos. But I guess if somebody does have to win, and I do have that team, I would rather see win. So text line, who do you want to see win now that the Chiefs aren't involved? This can be careful. Be careful about this decision. We'll talk about that next.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
I wish I'd gotten treated for my erectile dysfunction sooner. Men, I hear this all the time from our patients. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, resolve to get it treated today and stop having it affect you and the one you love. ED is simply a medical condition, and it's fully treatable. And at Heartland Men's Health, we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. Which means if you're like most guys, your ED will be a thing of the past. In fact, you could be having great sex within a day or two of your first appointment, and you'll likely find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. It's the new year. Resolve to get your ED treated and change your life. Call us at Heartland Men's Health. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600, or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Football season is in full swing, and however you like to get on the action, you can do it on Underdog. Right now in Missouri. This season, you can make team picks and player picks. Just download the app, sign up, and you'll get $75 in bonus entries when you make your first $5 fantasy entry. Using Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite team will win or your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Plus, with Underdog's fast payouts, you can get your profits in a snap. So download the app today and use promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to score $75 in bonus entries when you make your first $5 fantasy entry. Player picks, team picks, all on Underdog. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/playingatterms_DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-894-7722. That's 800-894-7722. Again, 800-894-7722.
Did you know that you can watch all your favorite shows right on YouTube? We're live streaming Fesco and Dusty, Cody and Gold, The Drive, and After Hours all day long. So if you want to look at the beautiful Alex Gold, interact with Cody Tapp in the chat, or gaze at the ruggedly handsome Dusty Likens, just go to YouTube and watch them while you pretend to work. Go to our channel, hit subscribe, and stay up to date with 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
Welcome back to After Hours. Jay Binkley, James Howe, producing the operation. James will be here with me Sunday. I'm telling you, man, that's a fun show, man. Get that prediction of the week. We have the college football playoffs to discuss at that point. We get the NFL playoffs that'll be going on. We have the Saturday games, and we'll talk about the Sunday games. Leads you right up to the Jacksonville-Buffalo game. It's a lot of fun to be had, James.
Yeah, we'll be right in the middle of the wild card round. Be a lot of good things to talk about. I'm excited about it.
A lot of fun to be had. So I said with the Kansas City Chiefs, it is weird to say. I mean, do you agree with having two teams in any sport? Like, if you're a Royals fan, are you a fan of somebody else? Do you like Seattle? Are you a Giants fan? Are you a Padres fan? Do you say, oh, it's okay to have an American League team as long as you have a National League team, even though everybody plays everybody in Major League Baseball? It was probably much easier back in the day, but then you had the interleague play that would happen. But it would be tough to be a Royals fan and then somebody else in the division, like Tigers or Cleveland or anybody like that. It'd be tough.
Right.
So, but I haven't done that. Like, I just stay with the Royals. Like, that's it. Because that's enough to consume your time. And with football, it's been the Chiefs. Because you do play all these other teams at a different time. But it is tough to watch success of other teams. There's a lot that goes into it. Like, who's their quarterback? Do you want to see their quarterback start to get some shine? Does that drive you nuts when you see that? Because it's going to happen on whoever wins. Whoever that quarterback's going to be, the bouquets are going to be laid at their feet, and that's going to be the guy to beat at this point. Can you have two favorite NFL teams? Do you, James? I know how big a Chiefs fan you are. Is there another team that you look at and you say, you know what? Because I've known people in the past around here even that like Detroit, even when they sucked. Like, I'll give them credit because they like Detroit when they sucked. And not when they're good, but they didn't cash in. And that's what you got to do. You got to cash in when you have your opportunity. Unfortunately, Detroit didn't. But do you have another NFL team, or is it just Chiefs?
Well, when I was younger, I did like an NFC team. And to be fair, I think it's okay if you have two different teams. If they're one AFC, one NFC. You can't have two favorite teams in the AFC West, right? I don't think that's I frown upon something like that.
It's the text line 913-586-7965. Do you like another team? Do you have a side team? Remember that Dr. Pepper commercial with the guy like in Western? The state fan goes, oh, you have a side team. I want to know your side team.
Yeah, I do like the Detroit Lions. I wouldn't say that I root for them, but I have liked them since Barry Sanders.
Okay.
So
that's back in the day when that's all they had.
Yeah, and then, Matthew Stafford was there. I'm a fan of him. Megatron.
Calvin Johnson, yeah.
They've had some talent come through Detroit, even though they weren't very good.
And Matt Campbell's a likable guy.
Yeah, and Dan Campbell,
Dan Campbell.
He's ferocious. I like
he's
the way
fun.
He coaches. He's all about biting kneecaps.
They miss Ben Johnson, don't they? There's a lot of things in Detroit. But do you have a side team? Like, being a Chargers fan, that'd be tough. Like Chiefs and Chargers, Chiefs and Broncos, that doesn't mix. I understand there's a lot of households where she's a Denver Broncos fan or whatever, and he's a Chiefs fan or vice versa, house divided type of thing. But it's tough, I think, to dive into it. I don't know. Text line, do you have a side team? With the Chiefs aren't in it, are you zooming out? Like, hey, I'll just go do other things at this point? Or are you still going to watch it and not have a rooting interest? That's kind of where I'm at. I just enjoy the football games for being good football games without a dog in the fight. It's kind of fun, although I do find a dog in the fight. Like I say, I don't have a dog in the fight, but oftentimes I do because I'll root for the underdog and I'll root for quarterbacks that have no business winning a ring because that's all they're going to ever get.
Sure. I mean, look, I'm going to be honest with you, Jay.
I prefer you lie to me.
No, I'd like to see Josh Allen. I like Josh Allen. I know
James.
he's like the rival or whatever, but I enjoy talent, and Josh Allen is talent. He's a great player. I'd like to.
This
see
is true. It is talent.
Yeah, I mean he's very talented, and like we mentioned earlier, who do you have for wide receivers? Nobody. And that's what great quarterbacks do is they bring up the people around them and they make it work. And that's what Patrick Mahomes did.
Yeah, they
for
win
years.
because of.
What's that?
Like they win because of him. You look at these teams.
Sure.
Say, are they winning because of? Yes, they're winning because of Josh Allen. That's why they win.
Yeah, and so I'd like to see him have some success. Especially.
I would
this
say
year.
the Bengals have to have Burrow to win, but they've proven they can lose with anybody.
Yeah, you remember my anti-Burrow take. But yeah, I'd like to see Josh Allen. It pains me to say it. I'm not going to root for Denver. So Josh Allen is the guy I'm going to be rooting for this offseason.
All right, here's some of the text line side teams. The Vikings are their NFC team. All right.
I like the Vikings.
It's from 913. Not also from 316. Chiefs are my number 2. The Browns are my number 1. See, it's interesting. The big Browns fan. I like that, though. I like that loyalty. But in baseball, I'm all Royals. I do love an underdog. 785. Don't have a side team, but I do not want the Broncos to win. See, that's kind of fun, too. Rooting against the team can be just as fun. Just as fun as anything else. Now, my thing is the opposite of you, James, a little bit. And I respect your opinion on Josh Allen and all that. He is a fun quarterback to watch, a tough quarterback to watch. But damn it, I'm tired of the Bills, man. I'm tired of the Bills' love. And this year they kind of, they fell back a little bit, and everybody didn't love them quite as much as they have in the past because they've got a ton of love. Now, I do think when you look at pressure on teams in the AFC, the Bills are right there at number 1. Because now, if you're Josh Allen, you look at the wall of your nemesis, like your anti-heroes. Patrick Mahomes, not in it. Joe Burrow, not in it. Lamar Jackson, not in it. So you have that fortunate, rare opportunity when you don't have some of these other guys. You got a Bo Nix going. You got a Drake May going. You got an Aaron Rodgers going. You got a Trevor Lawrence going. You don't have Mahomes, Burrow, and Josh Allen. To be honest with you, I could mention all these other quarterbacks, and only one of these guys has a ring, and that's Aaron Rodgers. That's it. Patrick Mahomes has all the others. These other guys, somebody's going to get there first, unless you go to the NFC. No dog in the fight with the Panthers. If they want it, they'd be fine. I'm okay with the Panthers winning. Bryce Young, they're not going to, though. They're not going to. Because what they do is they may win, then lose, then win. They're probably going to lose this one, to be honest with you. Eagles and 49ers. Eagles are a very non-likable team. They're very good, and I respect what they do, but they're very non-likable. The 49ers, I respect them because they've had to play with everybody getting hurt. So I've kind of always, even though they played the Chiefs a couple times in the Super Bowl, but when they're running out there with Brock Purdy, gone off for 8 games, Mac Jones comes in, Brandon Ayuk, can't even find him anymore. You're winning with all these ex-Chiefs receivers. But I respect what they're doing because they'll lose to Trent Williams, and they just keep on going forward. They lose Pearsall. They lose these guys, they just keep going forward. But they lost Trent Williams, like, oh, man, what are they going to do against the Bears game? And they end up finding a way to win. But they'll find a way to be smarter and better than other teams. Things have changed since they didn't take the ball in overtime in the Super Bowl. But I don't want to see Josh win his ring, man. You know what's going to happen. The Bills are getting all the love. They had the Hallmark movie this year. They got the new stadium to go into next year. People love the Buffalo Bills. You'll never hear the end of it if Joshy wins the Super Bowl. So I don't want to see it. My team, after all this.
Maybe we move that target that's on our back and we can put it on someone else's.
Oh, it will be. That's how things work.
Mm-hmm.
You're good, then everybody wants to tear you up. Tim Tebow saw this. He's at Florida. Everybody loved him. Goes to pros. Everybody hates him. Johnny Manziel found this. Everybody loved him when he's Johnny Football. Then they all started to hate him. Everybody loved the Chiefs. Then they started winning. Then everybody hates them. Everybody loved the New England Patriots and Tom Brady doing their deals in the early 2000s. And then all of a sudden they became too damn good and people started to hate him. Then Deflategate and people hated him. Now that he's retired, people love him again. They're in every commercial known to man, and people love him again. I'm going to say Seattle because I don't think Sam Darnold gets another one. Now, I could be selling my McDonald's short because he's done wonders there. And Sam Darnold is actually, broken free of that I see ghost type mentality like with the New York Jets and how he kind of peed down his leg last year with the Vikings at the end of the year. But I'm going to go Seattle. That's who I'm going for at this point. Again, I don't have a dog in the fight, but I would rather see a team, if they win, because I don't think they're going to win again. I think if Sam Darnold wins this one, I think people are going to be too hesitant to name him the best of the best and lay all those bouquets at his feet. Now, if Stafford and the Rams win, that'll be a second. That'll be a second. Everybody be loving up Matt Stafford. I don't want to see that.
Look, I've been a fan of Stafford since he was in Detroit.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't be mad at it. And neither would my wallet if they won it. So
816 side team this year is Pittsburgh. See, that's fun. That's kind of an underdog story and what they're doing. Maybe like Mike Tomlin because just finding a way, grinding out wins with Pittsburgh. It's fun with Aaron Rodgers, being at his age the way he is, and can he get the job done? That game last night was a lot of fun to watch. 816 says I like the Green Bay Packers because the fans of the team own the team. Because the fans, kind of own the team. The Packers are a frustrating team. That is an extremely frustrating team this year. There's no other way to put it. The Packers are extremely frustrating.
Yeah, from a fandom aspect, if you're a fan of the Green Bay Packers, I would definitely agree with that. It's been very inconsistent. It's like, are they good or are they not good? Sometimes they look great. Sometimes they look like a dumpster fire.
So who do you want to win, Jaguars or Bills? Wild card weekend. You get Trevor Lawrence or you want some Joshy?
I think I'm going to go with Josh. I think I'm going to go with Bills.
Little Joshy Allen.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna hang with the Bills. As much as I don't really like rooting for the team, I like Josh Allen, the person.
I love that commercial. So you got a side team. Like, what's your fandom level of a side team? So enough to go buy a hat, enough to go buy a jersey, enough to go buy a sweatshirt, hoodie. Well, what is your level of fandom for a side? It's okay to have, you say, you're the confines of your own house, you're down in your man cave, you're watching the games, and you may root for another team, or do you invest financially in other team, or does all that money go to the Kansas City Chiefs? Or do you wear your Chiefs crap and root against the Broncos? Because I want to see teams fail. I want to see the Bills fail. I want to see the Broncos fail. I already got to see the Lions fail because I didn't like the Lions ever since they started crying so much after losing to the Chiefs because they cried all week. I mean, they cried a lot. There were tears streaming down from the state of Michigan. They cried so much after losing to the Chiefs. They did. And the Broncos, that team is just so annoying with the incomplete chance and everything else. Want to see them spin out and fail. Want to see Joshy. I mean, Steelers, Texans. I like. I don't have a dog in that fight. I just go watch good football. I'm going to have fun with these playoffs, man.
Well, to answer your question about would you commit resources or dollars?
Yes, because when you put dollars on something, it's different.
Yeah, I think look, I have a collection of jerseys. I like buying. I just got a Baker Mayfield jersey for Christmas.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So I do like.
But you have Chiefs-specific content you put out every week.
Absolutely. Yeah, I run a Facebook page called Arrowhead Asylum. So, Chiefs are my number one team. I love.
Which is fine not being a fan either, because a lot of times if you cover a team or whatever, you kind of lose that fandom a little bit. I get that too.
Yeah, well, in our position, we have to kind of take ourselves out of that fan position and be real with ourselves and what we see. So I do like that, but at the same time, I'm a fan of good football. And Baker's played great football. He comes from Oklahoma, by the way.
I figured there was a connection there. I figured there was a connection there with you.
Yeah. So, yeah, he plays good football. I like his intensity. I've got a Josh Allen jersey as well. I've got a Joe Burrow jersey. I just collect jerseys. So, yeah, I would commit my dollars to another team's merchandise. But if I wasn't collecting jerseys, Probably not.
I'll let you know what the text line said. They're starting to crack me up. We'll do that next.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Who knew dressing up for a Halloween ball would change my life forever? Now I get to celebrate with the best fans and everything Kansas City. Oh, yeah! My journey also led me to Renner Garage Door, Casey's go-to team for garage door repair, replacement, and service since 1956. Renner features an MVP lineup from Delden, Amar, and Liftmaster.
R-E-N-N-E-R, R-E-N-N-E-R.
Start the new year by moving, not hurting. If joint pain's holding you back, then listen up. There's a way to get real relief without surgery, without downtime, and without putting your life on pause. QC Kinetics delivers regenerative treatments that actually help your body repair the areas causing you pain. Those achy knees, hips, shoulders, your back, wherever it hurts. Instead of facing an invasive operation that sidelines you for months, these treatments happen right in the office and you go about your day. Skip the 3 to 6 months of recovery. Skip the pain. Skip the invasive surgery. Imagine this instead. You're moving stronger and better and planning the year you want. Game-changing regenerative treatments from QC Kinetics. January is supposed to be your clean slate, so make it one. Stop managing the pain and start solving it with QC Kinetics. Call now for your free consultation. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. Off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone, it's QC Kinetics.
Let's go!
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
We asked parents to share their journey of adopting teens.
They changed who I am because I can't see life without them in it.
Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. Jay Binkley, James Howell producing the operation. Who is your side team? Now that the Chiefs aren't in the playoffs, do you have a side team? Do you want to admit it? Like, how many people are just not going to admit it, James? Like, the Broncos might be their side team, but they're sure as hell never going to tell you that.
I wouldn't.
I would be embarrassed to say that.
I would absolutely be embarrassed. I wouldn't tell that to a soul.
You have a side team. But you agree with me if you spend your money. Now, you are just a fan of the league, so you buy other jerseys and stuff. It's not like you're a Bucks fan or anything like that, but you like the individual player because he played at Oklahoma. Yeah. I'm just trying to get some reasoning down here.
Yeah, that's it for me. I have a buddy of mine that likes the Chiefs and likes the Cowboys. That's not my style.
It's a tough combo.
I get it. Cowboys and Indians, the whatever.
Chiefs, Texans,
Yeah. Not really my style. He would go spend money on a Cowboys jersey. I would not. I don't know if I'd ever spend money on a Cowboys jersey.
No, I don't.
Emmitt Smith, maybe? Like a Emmitt Smith jersey?
Not even Kelce ended up there next year?
No. I'd probably be so mad at the Cowboys.
Yeah. Someone, 913 says, I want to see C.J. Stroud win one because he has no reason to. See, I like that kind of attitude because I want to see someone win it because when they win it, they're never going to do it again. Like when the Chiefs let the Bengals play in that Super Bowl, right? I was 100% for the Rams in that game. I was 100% for the Rams. I always say I don't have a dog in the fight. I had a dog in that fight because I did not want to see the Bengals beat the Rams. I did not want to see the Bengals get a ring. So it was kind of I didn't like what they did to the Chiefs. I didn't like the fact they went in the Arrowhead and won. Chiefs were dominating that game, let the Bengals win. I'm mad because the Grim Reaper lasted one game, that Bills game, and didn't manifest itself after that Bengals game. They make it to the Super Bowl. I was a Rams fan in that game. For the team that always gave up their first-round pick to finally win one and have it materialize. Were you going for the Rams that game?
Look, when it comes down to it, I'm going to go for the NFC, like almost every year. And so I don't want to – I really don't want to see the Bills win. I don't want to see the Houston Texans win it. I don't want to see Denver win it. So when it comes down to the Super Bowl, whoever's on the NFC side, that's who I'm rooting for.
You know, for the 913 that likes the Vikings, are you willing to purchase a Vikings hat? Are you willing to be seen in public with it? Or the 816 that likes the Pittsburgh Steelers? Are you willing to wear that Pittsburgh Steelers hoodie? Are you willing to wear that jersey?
Right.
Are you willing to wear that hat? Or are you just good enough to sit home, drink your beer, eating some nachos, saying, what the hell, I'm going to go for the Steelers today? But, you know, everybody's got their thing, man. And you maybe not wanting your neighbor to know. You don't maybe not want your wife to know that you have a side team. But, you know, you're sitting there quietly watching. You may be rooting for another team. Me, I'm rooting for chaos.
Yeah.
And destruction.
I'm with you there. At the end of the day, I just don't have a team that I like in this playoffs. Like, I don't like any other AFC team. Do I have a preferred winner? Sure. Like I said, I'd like to see Josh Allen have some success. This is his year to do it, right? Like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, if he doesn't do it this year.
Right. I mean, when would he do it? So, but at the end of the day, I don't like the AFC.
Oh, you don't want to see him get on a run, man. You don't see him get that, you know, get this one, then all of a sudden be that team to beat the Buffalo Bills in the postseason.
Yeah, the next 3 years, we're worried about Josh.
You want to see McDermott go bye-bye. You want to see Josh Allen and the Bills hit the reset button, their new stadium. Oh, tough deal.
Yeah, no, I really want to see the Rams win it all this year. That's who I'm cheering for.
Like, I'm curious who can still be good after this. Like, who's going to take the steps to build? Remember the Packers back with Favre and stuff? They kept trying to, you know, get past the Niners. Then it was about getting past the Cowboys. And they take steps in the playoffs, but they never took that step back, right? They were always going forward. Then they went to the Super Bowl. Then Favre won one. And they kept going and pushing forward. We've seen the Jags, you know, get good with Blake Bortles, make it to the AFC title game, fall off.
Sure.
Then we saw them get themselves with Trevor Lawrence, and they actually got up with Dougie P, and they won a playoff game against the Chargers. Then they fell back, and they're sitting there drafting Travis Hunter last year with that second pick. So who's going to take that next step? I'll tell you one thing, and it's got to be tough, I think, for Detroit fans right now, because you had this window that was open, and you had Amon-Ra St. Brown. You had, you know, Jahmyr Gibbs and what he's doing in the backfield. You still do. But you had all these injuries that all of a sudden start happening. Then you lose Ben Johnson. Then you lose Glenn to the Jets, who's a better coordinator for you than a head coach. And then that window of opportunity, you bring in a franchise quarterback, you think at that point in Jared Goff, and you build yourself up. And then all of a sudden you have all these wins, and you go to the playoffs. And then all of a sudden you sit here and you're not in the postseason. And then you're starting to scratch your head and wondering, are you going back to being the laughable team on Thanksgiving every year where you don't have Barry Sanders to watch? Like, do you see that window closing? Because the window closes, the window of opportunity closes so fast in the NFL. I think that's been the most impressive thing with the Chiefs going to 7 straight AFC title games was the fact that they didn't fall off till this year. Like, they've already been to 5 Super Bowls with this group. They've won 3. Mahomes has 3 rings. Mm-hmm. So they cashed in. That window was open. They squeezed through it. Like, they knocked that window down. The window was open. It's kept opening it. They kept it open.
Well,
and they all climbed through it. But that Detroit, that thing went, boom, closed fast.
Yeah, sustainability is one of the hardest things to achieve in the NFL. And be able to be good year after year, it takes incredible draft classes, right? You have to be able to
you have to do it through the draft. Because not only that, you have to be better than everybody else because you're going to be picking at the end. Like, if you're constantly building success, you're going to be drafting at the end of the first round. Like Veach, you're drafting at 30th, 31st, 32nd some years, 30th, 31st. You're drafting at the end of the first round. And get this, when teams do the draft, there's only usually 13 to probably 18 guys to get first-round grades because most of the teams will agree on who's getting first-round grades. And then after pick 18 or 19, guess what? They became essentially second-rounders or into first-rounders. They're not earmarked. It's like Trent McDuffie. When he started to slide, the Chiefs had a first-round grade on him. They said, we better go up and get Trent McDuffie because we had a first-round grade on him. But if you don't have that first-round grade, then what happens? But now the Chiefs have that because now they're picking 9th. So now, instead of picking at the end, it becomes a lot more pressure when the guy that you picked on, because Xavier Worthy and stuff, because end of the first round type of guy, and you want to see what he's got. Last year, Josh Simmons, you want to see what he's got. The 9th pick this year in the draft will be talked about all summer, will be talked about in St. Joe, will be talked about at game 1, and it'll be continued to be talked about because that was your 9th pick in the draft. Much different than Felix. Much different because of where you're picked. When you're picked 9, you're expected to have results. And there will be pressure on the 9th pick in the draft because the Chiefs need somebody. They need somebody to help. Like, I think the receivers have a bit of pressure on them because they haven't materialized like you want them to. But the 9th pick in the draft will have pressure for the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, it's much different. That's why you got to be good. You got to be real good. You got to be damn good to pick at the end of the first round every year like Brett Veach has had to do.
Yeah, and kudos to Veach, man. I've always tried to give Veach as much props as I can because he's done a great job. Now, talk about pressure. The pressure's going to be on Veach this year because that 9 spot, he's got to nail it. He's got to nail it.
You got to do different things. Like, you have to be able to draft. Yes, you have to be able to draft. That's the lifeblood of your team. You got to be able to draft. Sure. But the other thing is, you have to make non-sentimental trades. You got to be willing to trade for Frank Clark. You got to be ready to trade for Servius Ward for Parker Enger. You have to make deals like that. You have to make deals by going out and get Harrison Butker off the Carolina Panthers practice squad to be your kicker to win 3 rings. You have to have the foresight to do that. You have to make a trade with your rival in getting Orlando Brown and pick 58 in the draft that became Nick Bolton. So you have to be good at trades as well. And also, the one thing that probably is what got Dorsey out of town was you have to be good at contracts. You have to be good at getting under the cap. You got to be good at having projections saying we want to pay this guy going forward because he's going to be the you-know-what. Like Mahomes. They started working on his deal when he was sitting behind Alex Smith because they thought he was going to be a good one. They thought what they had was a real gem, somebody that somebody else is going to want, and they're 100% right. But you got to do all these things as a GM. You have to make all of these decisions. It's not just the draft. For the Chiefs this year, it's 6 picks at this point. Can they get more? Maybe. But we'll see. I'm excited about this year's draft because I think the pressure will be on this front office because it takes all 3 to tango, man. It takes Mahomes and that offense and Andy Reid, right? It takes what that defense is going to do, and it takes that front office to supply the talent that the Chiefs need. Anyway, we'll take a timeout, come back with that as far as which direction you go and how difficult it's been for what the Chiefs have been doing.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Hi, this is Toby Tobin along with Jason Gudenkoff from Lewisburg Ford, Lewisburg, Kansas. Hi, Jason.
Hello, Toby.
Great time of the year.
It is that time of year, Toby. It's the year-end sales event. Ford always puts their best foot forward, and Lewisburg Ford is always $50 over invoice. We've got the 000 promotion going on right now, Toby. That means we've got 0% financing for 66 months with 0 down payment and no payment for 90 days on 25 F-150s, 25 Explorers, 25 Escapes, 25 Mach-E, 25 Lightning, and 25 Transit. It covers about the whole gamut for everything we've got out there, Toby. And you got 0 down payment, and you got no payments for 90 days. So we've got huge incentives.
That is huge. What else?
Right now, you can get up to $9,000 off a brand new F-150 and get 0% for 66 months.
Anything on SUVs?
Yeah, you've got up to $10,000 off on a 25 Escape right now, Toby.
Holy cow.
Yeah, that's with our $50 over invoice and the 000 promotion. It's a great time.
Lewisburg Ford, what is your phone number?
816-444-2300.
Or lewisburgford.com.
To improve your health. But if you're feeling low energy, not sleeping well, or not seeing results in the gym, keeping that resolution can be tough. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if those symptoms sound familiar, we can likely help. They often point to low testosterone, and treating low T is what we do. But this year, we're also helping men go further with 4 targeted body composition plans featuring growth hormone peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more, designed to boost energy, support metabolism, enhance recovery, and accelerate accelerate fat loss. With our low T treatments combined with our body composition programs, most men notice real improvements. More energy, better focus, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and often a renewed sex drive as well. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or visit heartlandmenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
As the owner, coach, and quarterback of your small business, you call the shots. From inventory to payroll and more. Now it's time to bring in LendSeek, your funding MVP. No delay of game here. Get up to $2 million in as fast as 24 hours for business lines of credit or term loans. Let LendSeek's AI marketplace assist you in making the winning play and score that touchdown. Apply at lendseek.com, LENDSEEK.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Welcome back. After Hours, Jay Binkley, James Howell producing the operation. 28-14 now. Montana State over Illinois State. James, we're going to have some fun on Sunday. A lot of things to talk about, I'm pretty sure.
Man, I am so excited to get in here on Sunday before the games start and just kind of vibe out with you here.
Yeah, exactly. You vibe. I've never tried that taco truck either that you have out south.
Oh, out there in Manhattan, El Guero Loco.
What was the name of that again?
El Guero Loco.
Okay.
I'll send it to you.
Okay. 660 is a 70-year-old lifelong Missouri out in the 660. I always identified with the KC teams. However, I was always geographically loyal. The KC Athletics from day one. Football cards left, the St. Louis Rams became his number 2. He always roots for KC over the Lou. So I think a lot of people did too. I think the Chiefs got a lot of fans in the St. Louis area. Matter of fact, the St. Louis area is actually the second largest ticket base once you go. It is the largest ticket base once you go out of the metro between the Kansas side and Missouri side and all that. It is St. Louis. But I think there is season ticket holders in every state? I know they were getting it. Just about every state in the union had season tickets for the Chiefs.
That's incredible.
Like Chiefs Kingdom was pretty prevalent in Las Vegas, wasn't it?
Yeah, it got loud there.
I guess that was the bad part is Andy Reid's not the all-time winningest coach at Allegiant now.
Dang, yeah.
He had an opportunity. It's not Pete Carroll either, but he had that opportunity to take the next step at Allegiant. Arrowhead West.
Yeah, and remain undefeated at Allegiant. That was unfortunate. And, losing to the Raiders sucks. Even if it solidified our draft position, still sucks.
Do you know there was a lot of Kansas City area people who had bought season tickets in Vegas?
Really?
Yeah, that way every year they'd have a nice trip to go out to Las Vegas, be able to watch the Kansas City Chiefs and, and sell the other ones.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Not a lot of people go to those games, but Chiefs Kingdom is everywhere. I've noticed that. I wonder how many of those people will stay around. Like, I wonder how many people that, bought into what the Chiefs are doing and Mahomes and Kelce and that whole deal. I wonder how many people will keep their loyalty to the Chiefs, or are they just bandwagon fans? Because as I mentioned, they went from 1970 to 1994 not going to an AFC title game, right? They went 22 years between 94 and 2016 without winning a playoff game. And then since then, it's been a bonanza of winning postseason games. And you've built up a lot of your fan base at that point too. Will they stay around? Will they suffer through a rebuild?
Yeah, that's the big question. And unfortunately, I think we're going to see a nice little drop-off of some of these bandwagon fans. Because every team's got, like, any successful team, the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Dodgers.
Oh, the Patriots had one. Now they're grabbing their hats again.
Yeah, exactly. And they're digging their jerseys out of the closet now, and they're ready to go. So, yeah, we're going to see a drop-off. But I'm all right with that because the real fans they're gonna stick around.
Now, I will see this because I have seen this for next year's schedule when people are looking at next year's schedule and thinking about the Chiefs and, well, it's not much easier. Well, it is because you're playing the third-place team in 3 divisions. Remember, the NFC South is that reciprocal division, so you're getting the Atlanta Falcons to be that extra game. But you always have to be careful because remember how many teams kind of sucked and all of a sudden they're good this year? And it happens all the time. Since the NFL realigned to 8 4-team divisions in 2002, 25 teams have gone from worst to first in their division in a single season. No such teams in 2024, but the 23 Texans are a recent example, improving from 3-13-1 in 22 to 10-7 in AFC South title. Here's another one. At least one team won its division the season after missing the playoffs entirely in 53 of the 55 seasons since the AFL-NFL merger in 1970. So the bottom line is you can look at teams and say, oh, man, I can't believe we're playing them. Then all of a sudden, that's a good team. Like how many people probably looked at the Patriots and thought, hey, they're not ready yet, maybe in 2 years, 3 years down the road. Now, they took advantage of a very weak schedule. And again, schedules do change around. Depends on where you're playing that team. You play in the first-place team or second-place team or third-place. But you have to be careful looking at schedules because you never know who's going to be good and who's going to suck. Like last year, the 49ers sucked. They were much better this year. Still a 6 seed, but they're much better than they were a season ago. The Bears were terrible. And all of a sudden, the Bears are sitting here as the 2nd seed.
Yeah, well, and I think that's a testament to how the NFL's set up. The worst teams in the league, they get the number 1 draft picks. And that's in order to help them come back to the pack a little bit. And so, it works. The system works. And it's cool to see those.
It hasn't worked for the Chiefs. They've been good regardless.
Yeah. But it is cool. It's fun to see some of these worst to first teams. I enjoy it.
Regardless, that 17th game, they're going to 18 games. They're going to 18 games.
Yeah, and probably 2 buys, right?
I enjoyed 2 teams getting a bye instead of just 1. I was a fan of that.
Yeah, I am too.
Made it a lot easier, didn't it? Just win that game, get the divisional, win that 1 game, boom, you're in the title game. You take advantage of being that 1 seed, and you let it roll at that point. But, yeah, so I am for the reseeding for these NFL teams because Carolina having a home game against the Rams, that game should be in L.A., man. I think the Rams have proven to be a better team this year. But it's a tough division. The NFC South was tough. Who would have thought that? Who would have seen that coming? With the Rams, the Seahawks,
the
49ers.
I was not a big believer of Sam Darnold at all, especially after what we saw in Minnesota. Yeah, he did great in the regular season. Kind of dropped a dud in the postseason.
But you knew he'd get paid because this is what teams do with quarterbacks. They pay quarterbacks, and if you can throw the football and you're Sam Darnold, you are going to get money. Despite the failures at the end of the season, you knew he's going to get money this year, and he found a good home in Seattle.
Absolutely.
It was one of those deals with a defensive-minded head coach, and it actually worked out. Typically, it doesn't. Everybody wants that answer like the Chiefs, having Reed and Patrick Mahomes. But we've seen Mike Vrabel, defensive-minded guy, winning with Drake May. So we're seeing all these teams start to win in situations where you didn't in the past. There's no real rhyme or reason or perfect fixture. It's finding the right guy. That's it. It's finding the right guy to be a head coach. But
absolutely,
now you see these teams and they fall. Can they sustain it? Will Jacksonville sustain this with Liam Cohen? Will they be good next year? Will they be a team to reckon with? Or will they fall backwards like they have done in the past? Will Dallas finally become good with the resources that Jerry Jones pumps down there? It'll be interesting to see. But doing what the Chiefs did and going to 7 straight AFC title games, that is so difficult. That's why you don't see teams do it very often. What the Buccaneers have won 4 straight division titles. They're not even in the postseason. I mean, they had to not only beat Carolina, but they had to sit there and sweat out the Saints-Falcons game, believe it or not, on Sunday. So it all matters what you do. But, yes, this year it's going to be just kind of sitting back and watching and see what they do. So we'll see what the Kansas City Chiefs do as offensive coordinator. I'm actually looking forward to this. I hope they move a different direction. I hope that they can bring new blood into this team and see what direction. By the way, Todd McShay put out his mock draft. He has the Chiefs going Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end from Oregon. That you can still see playing in the college football playoffs in the first round. So you're going to see a lot of Kenyon Sadiq. Already seen a lot of Kenyon Sadiq, Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, Jeremiah Love's been another big one is what we've seen. James, I'll see you Sunday, my friend.
Absolutely, buddy.
Thanks for everything, James Howe. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Fesco, Mac Mooring, Dusty Likens, 5:58 tomorrow morning. Good night.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Hey, football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown in the game, but his teammate scores instead. If this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. With BetMGM's second chance offer, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line. Try a first TD score wager with confidence today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards payback and unrestricted withdrawable funds. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
A cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-284-1238. 800-284-1238. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-284-1238.
Fesco and Dusty, weekdays 6 to 10 on Kansas City's FM sports station. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, and Odyssey Sports Station.
4 straight games after they fall to the Pistons, 121-90. Cade Cunningham, 29 points and 13 assists in the game. The Celtics beat the Bulls 115-101. The Suns and Rockets are tied at 78 apiece, 2 minutes left to go in the third quarter. The Hornets are curb stomping the Thunder 101-71, 10.5 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. And it's all tied up between the Nuggets and 76ers, 66-66, 8 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Other news out of the NBA, 4-time All-Star Trae Young and his agent are working together